guys, welcome to another layout. This one, look, I've got foundations paper, Vicky Britton foundations paper, but I don't know why I felt like pulling out the gesso and going to town with it for some reason. Anyway, it's okay. So I'm just using normal flat white cardstock, and I'm using my Finnabair Art Basics clear gesso, and I'm using my silicone brush to brush that on with. Now, I prefer the clear gesso over the white because it doesn't affect the color that I put down. So whatever ink or paint or whatever, it doesn't dilute it. So that's my reasoning for using that particular one. It now comes in a tub. I do have it in a tub, but this particular tube is just lasting forever. So I don't know. I use plenty of it, but yeah. Anyway, so I am doing a layout and I'm using a couple of different things. I'm using a bit of distressed oxide. I'm using my brayer. I've actually pulled that out a couple of times this week or in the last 2 weeks. So that's kind of good. I'm using my stuff, guys. Like, wow. Actually pulling things out and using it. See, Keep It Simple September is making me think slightly differently. Hopefully it's doing that for you too. Now, I'm just adding some color. Now, it's not going to stay like this. This is just me getting a little bit of color on the page just to start to get a little bit of a feel for where I want to go with this. I want to go full mixed media all over the place, right? Now, this is something I did notice though. I just used my VERSAFINE Clair ink on top of gesso. Guess what? It didn't like it. It did dry, but it didn't stamp crystal clear like, like on the paper pad next to me. It didn't dry clear. It doesn't bother me. It's background noise when it comes to the layout, so I'm totally fine with it. Now, I'm coming in with my All in Create stamp number 349. I love this stamp. I absolutely love it. It's all different fonts, sizes, blah, blah, blah. And it gets texture and pattern in the background, and I love it. Now, it was at this point that I went, okay, getting a bit of color on the page. Some people, you guys have told me that some of you are scared of a white background. How can I always start with a white background? You know what? I love a white background because of all the possibilities that you can come up with. Now, this is where I pulled out my same stamp that I was using before, but I pulled out my VERSAFINE Clair inks, but I pulled out of my DINA Wakely collage papers, and there's a stack of blank paper in there. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to stamp it onto there first, and I got a beautiful print. Loved it. Perfect. It was the gesso. Obviously, that's a learning curve for me. VERSAFINE Clair inks don't like going over gesso. I'm going to run with it. That's probably just, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But yeah, it worked all right. So I'm just doing a few first and second generation stamps there with the VERSAFINE ONYX black ink. These inks are really good to give you a really crisp, permanent ink. When you put these down, they're permanent. You will notice here, the OXIDE ink is moving, but the VERSAFINE Clair, once it dried, is not moving at all. Okay, so because I've got gesso in the background, I was able to leave this with a little bit of time and then come back to it and then add the water to it and I nearly said re-alive it. Like, seriously? That's not even a word. Okay, so bring it back to life. Just get a bit of water on there. Get it to sort of, instead of being solid stripes, get it to the point that it's sort of starting to meld together a little bit. Now, I come in with more. So this is what it is when I'm talking about just building layers. This is the difference. Instead of, when I say to you, just take 2 more steps, okay? This is what I'm talking about. So the first initial stamps, years ago, I would have stopped and went, oh, I've wrecked it, and chucked that bit out and started again. Don't do that. because now it's added the grunge. Now, I have finally bought myself a pot of multimedia matte glue, and I am, now it will wreck your brushes, so be mindful of the brush that you're using with it. And mine is an old one, you can see it's all stained, so it didn't faze me at all. Now I'm just attaching the stamped tissue that I've just torn, and I'm putting it in all different directions just to create interest in the background noise. That's all I'm doing. And you can do direct stamp to this if that's what you want to do. This circle piece, that's from the Dina Wakley, what's it called? Collage papers. It was in there as well. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to bring in a little bit of that to go with my text and whatnot. And it should just all go together. And then I can come in with some stamping on top of that and bring it all together. Now, you could quite easily, if you don't have tissue paper, you could use your packaging tissue paper. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat stuff. I just had that. I bought that pack years ago when I was really into my art journaling, and I've still got it because it goes forever. And then I decided that I wanted to do some stenciling on here, but I wanted it to be big, bright and bold. So I pulled out my Jo Sonja's black. It's called Carbon Black, and that's because it is matte black. It is fantastic, this stuff. If you've got black gesso, you could use that as well. You could use just black paint, and maybe you might have to do 2 layers. I love this one because when you put it down, it's done, that's it. It's nice and solid, not a problem. Now you can see just on the left hand side there, my stencil lifted a bit. It wasn't quite, the glue wasn't quite dry, and I lifted a bit of colour off. Don't stress about it. Keep going. Just keep going. Just keep adding some stamps and some dots and some do some mark making, and just watch it all come together. A secret with doing stuff like this can be simple. If you want me to do more layouts like this so you guys can see how I bring them together, happy to do it. Just let me know in the comments below. I absolutely love scrapbooking like this because it gets my creative juices flowing. I absolutely love it. And now that I've got a couple of different, I've got a range of stamps, inks, stencils, because I've got that built up now. With these stencils, this stencil that I'm using, I bought that from a cheap shop. I can't even remember how many years ago. It was like 5, maybe 6 years ago. You just keep using it, baby. It's one of those things. Stencils are foundation building blocks. And when you want to create a layout like this, and you can build it up, and it's all about the layers, think about things that you've got floating around your place. There is a technique that I want to show you guys. None of these are I don't own these techniques. I am just happy to show you guys and teach you how I do it. And, you know, sometimes you might find another YouTuber that maybe explains it a little bit more simply, or maybe I'm that person for you. Maybe you've watched it half a dozen times on other channels and not really understood it. For me, I need to see my strongest color on the page, which is usually black. It has to be on the page 3 times. That means maybe in the photo, maybe in the papers, maybe in the paint, maybe the stamping. It could be a few more than that, you know, like these are things that you can do that make a difference. And then you can do things like this. I just went direct to paper to create a background to put my thickers on. These are these stickers. Yes, I think they are, aren't they? Yes, Colour Fresh. They're HEIDI SWAPP stickers. Sorry, they're HEIDI SWAPP thickers, and they're called Colour Fresh. Now, I got these on a chuck out bin. They were $3. probably a month ago and maybe 6 weeks ago. And I absolutely love them. I wish I had grabbed more because you can colour them, you can change them, you can paint them, you can do all sorts of things with them. Now, I love the fact that the colours are sort of half and half. It sort of lends itself to the gymnastics-y sort of crazy girl sports world. Sort of that's what it makes me think of when I look at these letters. So I hope this video has hit in just the right way. I hope this has given you inspiration. Maybe you like the look of mixed media, but you just aren't quite game enough to give it a crack yourself. Trust me, take 2 more steps. When you think it's ruined, take 2 more steps. Just go, you know what? Don't think it's great. Either get up, make yourself a coffee, come back to it, and then take 2 more steps. Or if you're at the point where you're putting your black stars on and you go, oh my God, I've ruined it. Oh, one of them is blotchy. Oh, it didn't go through the stencil properly. You know what you do? You simply recreate the same mistake somewhere else on the layout. That way it looks purposeful. It's that simple. It's all fake it till you make it, guys. This is how it is, you know. And then when you bring in your bits and pieces of bling, like I'm doing here, this is just all sequins. Now, all my sequins I've got from a variety of different places, be them the $2 shop, be them, I did pick up some last week or the week before, and they were from Lincraft. I nearly said Spotlight. It wasn't Spotlight, it was Lincraft. And they had a sale, and 40% off. That is my time to pounce and buy things that are considerably pricey when it comes to my particular shiny blingy bits. I like all my shine and my shimmer and my bling bits, and I've got to say sometimes they're pretty expensive, so get them when they're on sale. If you are not already, if you're an Aussie, I'll throw that out there first. One, if you're an Aussie, if I see sales or anything like that, I will pop it up in the Facebook group, which is linked in the description below. Jump over there, and that way you will see when I spot a sale, or if someone else lets me know about a sale, I'll pop it up there. And yeah, you know, we all need to look out for each other when it comes to getting bargains and getting, maybe it's not necessarily on your radar that it's something that you might want, like sequins. You might think, nah, don't really like it. I can't really afford, you know, $4, $5, $6. That's nuts. But once you get a little bit of a collection going and you've bought 4 or 5 of them and you mix them yourself, that is so much cheaper than buying a mixed sequin mix. You know, because it does take a lot of effort and time to make those mixes up. So, you know, maybe that's something you want to do for yourself. So jump into the Facebook group. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to post stuff there. I will preface this by saying that I do edit what is allowed to be posted and what's not. The only thing I normally ever discard is, it's not if something's on sale or anything like that. It's usually when someone's creeping in there. I'll word it like that. So them I block. So that's why I have it set the way I have it set. Just to make sure, you know, we don't need any nasties entering into our fun little safe, crafty, happy place. So I'm just going around my stars, just giving a little bit of definition to my black stars with a white Posca paint pen. This is a 0.7mm. Absolutely fantastic. You should have, if I was to tell you 4 things to get in your collection right here, right now, it would be a black and a white pen, either a Posca paint pen, because that goes over everything. I would go a fine line one. I would probably then say to get a metallic If you're a gold person, go gold. If you go like silver more, go silver. I have both because, you know, I'm spoiled. And I guess on top of that, start building your mixed media. You know, start grabbing little bits and pieces. You'd be very surprised what you can use on a layout that, you know, may have just been chucked in the bin normally. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more layouts like this and you want to see more of how I build the layouts up. Let me know in the comments. Now I'm going to do my shameless plug. If you have not hit subscribe, I would love it if you did. Leave me a comment, a like. All of it's free, and it simply helps my channel gain a bit of momentum, which then means YouTube pays me to buy supplies to create videos for you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything, and everything will be listed below. Thanks for that, guys. Bye for now.